talk about that good shot, because the 10th round, it looked like you were winning most of that round, and then at the very end, you get clipped. What were you feeling as you went back to the corner?
It was a good shot. I was never hurt, which at the end of the day, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to box smart. Hit me with a good shot. I never was hurt, but I still continued to box smart.
It did look, though, in the 11th, you were more trying to survive, get your legs under you, than be the aggressive fighter we saw for the first 10.
Sometimes when you get hit with a good shot, I wasn't hurt, but you got to still be smart in there. And that was a game plan. So even if you get hit with a good shot, you still box smart. You still continue to do what your game plan was. And
Of course. I definitely feel like it showed that I could take a punch. You know, they say now these days, they say I got a glass jaw or something like that. But at the end of the day, he hit me right on the chin, and I might have been hurt, but he didn't put me down. He didn't come in the next round and knock me out. So I mean, it shows how good my chin actually is. I took one of the best punchers in the lightweight division that has knocked guys out with one shots. He showed that he can finish. He showed that he can do it all. He showed that he had power, and I took his shot on the chin, and I came out the next round, and he hit me even more in the next round, and I didn't do anything. So it just showed that I can take a shot. But it is what it is.
I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep Running Your Mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay focused on the ring. You know what I'm saying? To the fans that know.
Do that job outside the ring. I'm a fighter. Like I said before, there ain't no safety on the clock, so I'm gonna do that.
I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary.
When I was a casual, I thought as a casual, I spoke like a casual, and I looked at boxing like a casual. But when I became a hardcore, I put away all those casual things. This is Michael Rogers, and welcome to Bodywork Boxing. Welcome back. It's your favorite content creator's content creator. Man, oh man, oh man. It's fight week, and I really like to give the fighters that I check for and that I'm interested in their time to shine. I try not to overshadow it, with other fighters, and I really try to get them their praise when it's time. And I just wanted to share that original clip because, it's a misconception that I don't really rock with Devin. That's the misconception. I'm always, whenever it comes up with certain boxers, I'm always finding myself in a position where when I disagree, even if I'm truthful, the truth hurts. And a lot of people resort to insults. They resort to bashing whoever, quote unquote, is their enemy in another boxer or a future opponent. They do everything but either validate or invalidate what I'm saying about a certain boxer. And in this clip, right after the interview, Devin says he was never hurt. He says it like 3 times. Months later, when he's interviewed about it, he turns around and says, yeah, I may have been hurt. That's my only issue. Right now, the boxing world is in a frenzy because we saw Teofimo Lopez suffer his defeat by Kambosos. And Teofimo actually was doing the admirable thing. He fought some notable opponents at 135, and he actually worked his way up and beat the man that beat the man. Up until right until they gave him the mic, probably like the second or third time after defeating Loma, his stock started to tank because of things that he said. There's so much content about how he lies in this one and he does this, and people talking about his father, and but then we got somebody like Devin who does the same thing. And you can go back to my videos. If you had to go back to my playlist, you can go look at the video that I got called "The Pot Calling the Kettle Black" with Devin and Teo. Months and months and months and months and months ago. I said they're doing the same things. It's just when you support one fighter over the other, you're overly critical of one and you let the other one slide for things that they do. So I always say, I've seen a lot of interviews, because as a hardcore, when you're going through and you're trying to do your research and you're trying to get the best sources, and this person is biased, and that person is biased, but this person, even though they don't like that one boxer that you might rock with, they're gonna go all out and they're gonna tell you everything you need to know, and it's limited areas where you can get interviews and you can get like primary information, but I see so many videos and so much contradictory information. And like I said again, when it comes to Devin, there's like a 5 to 8 month curve where I might be saying something, I sound like I'm hating right in a moment, but then 5 to 8 months later, whatever I was saying actually comes out and content starts coming out about how, oh yeah, and it's an agreement. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. That's why my channel was built one brick at a time. So I built my channel brick by brick. And I'm appreciative of all my subscribers. I hit 45 today, which, is an accomplishment because I'm a small channel. But I see that I'm influencing other people, and, I count it all joy. It's nothing but flattery, because I like this boxing. I like this boxing genre and this talk, and you know what I'm saying, that's all I do. You know what I'm saying, it saves me, it keeps my mind going, keeps me occupied, keeps me entertained. So let me start off by saying that I really don't have a pony in this race, when it comes to Devin and Jojo. I really don't. I see Devin as a young boxer who has the potential to be in the Hall of Fame. If he didn't have like a cult-like fan base, and he had somebody else that actually would hold his feet to the fire, I could see him going to the Hall of Fame. I'm on record in the past saying that he probably has the best jab at 135. He utilizes it. I was listening to Bill earlier, and he did say that Devin has some meanness in him, and I actually see it. But Devin got a meanness to where he'll catch you with a jab, and it's almost like he'll step back and look like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, and it's that slight hesitation. Because if he hit you with that jab, like a double jab, and then he follow it up with something that you don't see coming, then I think that his power would be, you could see the result or the influence of his power if he were to do that. I just think that there's some things form wise, I think that some things is like, it's more like a wind up, and for him to be like, I guess, taller than most of his opponents and longer than most of his opponents, I don't think he always utilizes that to his advantage. He stays on the outside. He has good foot movement and footwork, He does have fast feet. He is slick, you know, but I think that it's part of it, and I said this before. I think part of it is him using that Philly shell. And I know that he's influenced by coming up under Floyd, you know, training with Floyd, but it's something that, because even T.O. was trying to use it, but it's something that if you don't have that down pat, man, all it takes is for somebody that's accurate with some pop, and it'll make you look bad. You got to know what punches you're vulnerable to when you're in that shell. And for me, I think that with Devin's jab, he'll be better at more of a high guard. Not all the time, but like a high guard with a little bit of peekaboo style. Because the jab is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think he has fast enough hands to where if people try to take advantage of him being in the high guard, his feet are quick enough and he'll be able to get off his shot and get out of range where he's hitting you and not. I just believe that part of the things that I see with Devin is the use of that Philly shell. Okay, that's the big thing. I don't really think that that's the best style that suits him. You know, I also see that, I believe that, you know, Devin is a growing young man. And he's been down there at 135, just like his quote-unquote arch nemesis. They've been down there for a while. And he's a growing person. And I think that sometimes when you're cutting weight and you're not at your natural weight, you know, it has been known that actually impacts your punch resistance. And I'm not buying into the fact that Devin has a weak chin. I don't really buy into the fact that he has a weak chin. I just believe that he's been shown that if he get touched right, then you'll get what you see. You know, in the beginning of this video, that's what you're gonna get when you get that chin touch. But I think part of it is I think it's cutting weight. And I also think that in turn as well, being at that weight also is a contributing factor as to why a lot of people don't view him as having power. You know, I had issues with him complaining about Gamboa holding, and then after he got touched, him holding Linares when Linares, you know, caught him with that shot. Overall, he dominated the Linares fight. He pretty much dominated Gamboa. I mean, he was landing some vicious shots on Gamboa, and he was working his combination. That's what I want to see, man. I think if Devin fought in the high guard, he kept pumping that jab, he fight behind that jab. He is an excellent body puncher, and you know this is body work. So I applaud him. He does go to that body. You know, I just think that it's the Philly shell, man. It's just the Philly shell. And until that's like perfected a little bit more, the way he fight looks kind of awkward. You know, I think that he has a bright future because the one thing that he really is an offspring of Floyd with is the dedication. You know, the one that's going to be in the gym, the one that's going to show up and make weight, and you know, the training and all that. And so when you got that, that's like that Andre Ward, that lifestyle of a boxer thing. And I think he has that more than a lot of his peers. And so if you have that, that means you're always developing, you're always growing, but the thing is, like, and my little son, you know, when I'm talking to him, sometimes even if he does a good job, I can't necessarily tell him like you're doing everything right. Why? Because if he slacks, he'll still be doing good, but he'll never get better. And I think it's kind of misconstrued when, you know, everybody around you saying you're the best ever and you're this and this and that, and you know, you're this and that, and yeah, everybody's ducking you and this and this and this. I'm not the yes man type, and I'm not the type that's actually going to sit up there and and tell you things like that all the time, especially when the resume doesn't say that. You know, the things that you say going into the fight, it doesn't lend itself to for us to believe that everything everybody say about you is totally true. He's a good boxer. He has probably the highest ceiling, and he has the height and the length that lends itself for everybody to believe that he will get there. What I see in this fight in regards to Jojo is Jojo actually had issues with weight, you know, in the past. He is moving up, so everybody want to, you know, play the movement. Oh man, when he's moving up, will it transfer? They do that, so will his power transfer? I don't think that he looked spectacular against Fortuna. I thought that Fortuna didn't come in with the right game plan as far as being able to, you know, rough him up and make it a rough, ugly fight. But I believe that it came down to Jojo actually figuring Fortuna out based on his veteran savvy and doing what he needed to do to get the job done. Jojo has shared the ring with Mr. Gary Russell. He suffered a defeat at the hands of Mr. Gary Russell. And he also beat Tevin Farmer, who was supposed to be a slick fighter. Tevin Farmer is actually on record saying that that Jojo, he basically said I wasn't able to use my jab when he fought Jojo. And so that was my thing on the build up. I was like, well, you know, it's kind of hard to stop that jab that Devin got. And Tevin is a little bit slick. He was more defensive. He also wasn't known to have a lot of power. You know, he just was like he was more defensive. I don't think you can put him in the class with Mr. Gray Russell as far as being defensive. But he was a slick fighter, not really known for his power. Did have good speed, was kind of agile, had a decent boxing IQ. Kenny Porter was on record saying that when he coached Jojo Diaz, that he was like number 2 overall back when he was in the Olympics. So yeah, he does have Olympic pedigree. Devin has him in the age category because Devin is the young hungry lion. He has him in the height, he has him in the reach. And Jojo has Devin in the experience. I've seen some exceptional head movement from Jojo, and he has a sneaky it's like a pull counter, but he uses it in an uppercut fashion. And he has a step back uppercut that's very sneaky. It's one of his shots, and when he establishes his range and his distance, he's very accurate with it. You know, he's faced adversity where his face been cut. You know, he's faced a variety of different people from being an Olympian, you know, sharing the ring with those 2 names that I spoke of. You know, they say when you fight somebody, you take on their experience. And Devin fought Linares. Linares is a great combination puncher. I think that Devin leads with the jab, and Devin can be exceptional at counter punching. As far as who's the better counter puncher, I think because of styles, you really can't say right now. And I believe that Devin should win this fight. But I don't know with the recent events. I don't know. I was questioning, is he looking past Jojo Diaz? Is he already looking at George Kambosos? Because he got a mighty task in front of him. Because on paper, they're saying this is going to be his biggest challenge. So is he looking past Jojo Diaz? my question for Jojo Diaz is, if he beats Devin Haney, would it really be an upset? You know, just looking online and some of the things and some of the stuff that people say, I mean, these goalposts, they get moved around. And, you know, I seen one about people getting knocked down. You know, oh, well, Devin, out of all of them, Devin's the only one that hasn't gotten knocked down. I'm like, well, out of all of who? There's a lot of boxers that haven't gotten knocked down. But an example would be like when Devin fought Gamboa versus when Tank fought Gamboa. And Devin fought Gamboa after Tank beat him and knocked him down, I don't know how many times. Like 5, 7 times. I don't know how many times he knocked him down. He lived on the canvas. So that knockdown stuff, it's when you want to cater to a narrative or when you want to big up your fighter, that kind of knockdown stuff, you know, it serves its purpose. All in all, I think this is a good fight. I think that a lot of people are starting to look at Kambosos like food. And it's a lot of turncoat going on. I'm not a turncoat. I stick with what I stick with, and that's what it makes me slow motion, because I don't ride waves. I don't jump from lap to lap. I don't put on the tonsil jewelry. I don't break out the knee pads, the lip gloss, the Wi-Fi. You're not gonna hear me just saying, oh yeah, I do believe that we should be able to respect fighters. I do believe that as fight fans, just like boxing fans, we don't have to be enemies to disagree. We can agree to disagree. You know, it is a contact sport, but being a fan of boxing should never lead to being a contact type thing. You know, that's when things happen. Anyways, I'm looking forward to this fight. If I had to put money down on it and say, all right, this is what I got, I'm leaning towards Jojo. I think that Tio might be looking past Jojo. I think that it's gonna take a little while for Jojo to figure Devin out. And I think that the recent events of the TO and all that, and all the praise and all the, the anointed, really before you, to be honest, really before you really did anything, you know what I'm saying? I think all of that praise and all of that, it's going to be a lot of pressure. And with the way fans are right now and demands and the pressure that they're actually putting on these boxers to perform, Devin might make a mistake. Now, I can't say this because I've seen it in the last 3 fights, the last 3 major fights. I saw it when Caleb Plant had a certain kind of energy going into the Canelo fight. When he got inside the ring, that energy changed. Sean Porter had a certain kind of energy going into the Bud fight. When he got into the ring, that changed. Teofimo Lopez had a certain kind of energy. But when he got into the ring with Kambosos, that changed. Right now, Jojo Diaz, everything I'm seeing and hearing from him, he has a certain kind of energy. And if that energy changes once he gets inside that ring, Devin will win. I also believe Devin will win if he fights behind his jab and he just keeps it boxing. He does not try to go out there and prove to the fans that he doesn't have a glass chin. If he does not try to prove anything to the fans and he go out there and he keeps it boxing and he tunes out what everybody's going to say, and he just focuses on capitalizing on all the mistakes that Jojo's going to make, he can win. In closing, Jojo Diaz is looking at Devin like the young hungry lion who's overzealous, over anxious, And he said, I've been there before. I know the feeling. And he's looking to take advantage of that. I think Jojo is going to be more poised because this is a big payday for him. And he knows that if he gets himself in the same position that George Kambosos got into, he'll have a chance to get into the conversation for being undisputed. He'll have bigger paydays and bigger and brighter things in the future. All in all, it's a good fight. Again, don't have a dog in this race. I just think it's going to be a good fight. I don't really think neither one's going to stop. I don't really think either one's going to stop each other, but I think whoever, once again, my keys to victory, whoever does the most effective body work is going to win, and whoever is able to stick to their game plan, no matter what adversity they face, is going to win. Body work.
All right. I believe you. But my Tommy gun don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
My word, and I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked solid up, right? You know what I'm saying? To the fans and all
You
that.
got outside the ring. I'm a fighter. Like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so